Welcome to this workshop session of How Tall is a Dinosaur, the model making activity. In this session we will be making a dinosaur leg. Now, this is a step-by-step guide to making a model for yourselves using cardboard and easily found materials, and this is a quick preview of what we'll be making in this session. Now you'll need scissors, pliers, some cardboard, some sticky tape and duct tape, a little bit of PVA glue, pencil and paper, a paintbrush, some ready-mix paint such as acrylic, a couple of sheets of dark tissue paper and some modelling wire such as you get from an educational supplier. And this is the method. So start out by drawing your model, a couple of dinosaur footprint templates to begin with. Now use simple circles and lines, just sketching your ideas on paper. Once you've worked out the basic shape, use a pen just to trace around the outline so it's a little bit clearer to see, just like this. Now the toes on a dinosaur footprint do tell us a lot about the type of dinosaur it is. A dinosaur with a footprint with 3 toes of different lengths is a meat-eating dinosaur, a theropod, whereas a dinosaur with 3 toes of similar length is an ornithopod, which is a plant-eating dinosaur. A dinosaur with round feet and short toes is a sauropod, a huge plant-eating dinosaur. Now you can choose whichever one you prefer. I'm going to go for a theropod. Just cut this out nice and carefully. Take your time with the scissors, remember it's not a race. Just very easily go around the outline there. You could cut out the rough sort of outline first and then go in for the details such as I'm doing here. Now we're going to use this footprint to calculate the length of your dinosaur's leg using a very easy equation. Now take 2 pieces of paper, stick them together lengthways like so. We're just going to use some ordinary sticky tape like masking tape for this. There we go. Now mark the length of your footprint template at one end of the paper just like this. Once you've got the length, just label it with the number 1. Then we repeat the process. So there's number 2. I'm going along the length of this paper. Here's number 3. And then number 4. Now this will give you the length of the leg you're going to make. So exactly 4 times the length of the footprint. There we are. And you can see that slightly longer range. There we go. So it should look like this. The length of the leg, 4 times that of the dinosaur footprint. Now let's trace that footprint onto a large piece of flat cardboard. The side of a cardboard box is ideal for this. If you want to recycle your materials, that would be brilliant. Take your time again. I tend to do this in pen just so that we can see it nice and easily. And you'll notice I'm putting this with the toes pointing near the edge of the cardboard there, just to give us a bit of balance when we do the finished thing. Now we're going to place the leg measurement next to the footprint like this. The reason we're doing that is that we're going to measure out our modelling wire to fit along the length of the leg. It's going to go twice along the leg and then bend for the 2 outer toes as well, so we've got plenty of support for our structure. I'm just straightening that out a bit. Now this is modelling wire, so it's aluminium. It's easy to bend, it's nice and soft, but it does give you the support for your structure, which will make life easier later on. There we go. So I'm going to make a little bend for the outer toe, you can see that there. Then we're going to bend the wire at the other end using a pair of pliers. Now you could ask an adult to help you with this. We're then going to go all the way down again, so this is our second length of the leg. And we're going to bend it for the other outer toe. Just like this. And then snip it off with the pliers. Again, ask an adult if you need assistance with that. Then lay this double length of wire on the template just to check the length. And we're going to stick those outer toes down using a little bit of duct tape or fabric tape, whatever you want to call it. There we go, nice and secure, still inside the footprint there. Now we're going to bend the doubled wire to form the dinosaur leg shape. You can do this just using your hands. The best thing is look at some dinosaur pictures to check the direction that the legs bend. It's like a coiled spring. Remember that the legs of the dinosaur there, they're used to propel it, just in the way we use our knees. And we're now going to make some tubes out of cardboard to give some shape to those legs. So I'm cutting out some rectangles. Again, I'm recycling an old cardboard box for this. Just take care with those scissors. look for the lines running through the cardboard and fold along those lines, and you'll see it's quite easy to roll it up. You're going to need to make quite a few of these. Now let's roll these tubes around the wire legs. If they're a bit big, just trim them down using scissors to make sure that they fit. We start at the bottom of the leg there. There's one. And then we'll go for one on the other wire as well. Lovely. Now what we're going to do is we're going to secure these with sticky tape just as we go along. It's best to do it as you go along, just so you don't end up with random bits of cardboard all over your working space. Again, take your time. It's better to do something properly than to do it quickly and it fall apart later on. So you'll see we've got both tubes there stuck together nicely, and we're actually going to attach these to each other just to give it a bit more stability at the bottom end of the leg there. So I'm going to use a bit of tape across the top there, and then another piece underneath just to stop them coming apart. Now, to make it really secure, what we might also do, as well as sticking them together, we'll stick them down to the base as well in a moment, just to make sure that they're not going to slide up and down, just like that, with one piece of tape. Should be enough. Then we're going to work our way up. Now, if the tubes aren't quite long enough, just stick two together. Because you're recycling the cardboard, it doesn't matter if you're using two tubes to get the same length together. And there we go. Bit by bit, we just work our way up, before we then get onto the feet. Now, for the feet, to represent all the different bones of the dinosaur's foot, we're going to use little cardboard rings here. I'm going to stick those together with sticky tape as well, and then we're going to stick them inside the footprint template shape that we've put on the cardboard. So there's our first one going into place. Slightly longer bit of tape to stick it down. I'm going to go right over the top like a bridge and stick it down on either side. And then sped up, here's the rest of them. Just to pop them in place, make sure if it's a carnivore that middle toe is slightly longer. There we are. Now, to add the claws, some claw shapes, you need two of these for each toe. Make sure you get one for every single toe. I'm going to stick those together a bit like a book, so just at one edge, using sticky tape like this. And to check you've got it just on one edge, once you've stuck them together, just open and close it a couple of times. And then we stick it down to the cardboard base with them slightly open, so it creates a 3D claw, just like that. Now we'll tidy that up a bit in a minute. We'll carry on to the next one. Now, don't forget to add one of these to every single toe. It will be a bit strange if you end up with only one or two claws. There we are. And we're going to tidy that up with a bit more tape. And that's how the completed dinosaur leg model should look. So that's our structure there, wire on the inside, cardboard on the outside. Now we're going to decorate this initially with tissue paper, so we're going to cover this with some PVA glue to begin with, nice and carefully. Again, go gently with this, we don't want to damage the wonderful work you've done already. Once you've got some PVA on there, we're going to add some small pieces of dark tissue. We're just going to pat those down with the brush. Now the brush has still got glue on it here. We want to keep the surface a little bit bumpy because that will help us with the painting later on. So as you can see, I'm working nice and gently along there. I'm not trying to smooth it out in any way, but I am trying to keep the shape of that toe there. And we repeat this until the entire structure is covered. Now obviously I've sped this up. You don't need to work this quickly. Just take your time, work with little pieces so you don't get in a bit of a mess. And eventually you'll cover the entire piece. Now this might take a bit of a while. And then we work our way up the leg. Now this whole process took me about half an hour. Just take your time with it, go nice and carefully, and you'll end up very proud of the finished result. are now, some nice bumpy bits on the base for the ground beneath. And again, the more wrinkly you make this, the better it will look when we come to adding the paint surface in a while. Once you've covered the lot, you leave it overnight to dry so that we can add paint the next day. There we go. So that's the building part done. Now onto the decoration. Now once the glue is dry, use a different piece of cardboard. Just add a little bit of paint. This is ready mix paint like acrylic. We're going to dry brush. That means we take our brush, we're going to dip it in a little bit of the paint, and then we're going to wipe it nearly all off on the rest of this dry cardboard. So we've got hardly any paint on the brush. And when we come to the model, we just brush it across lightly. What it does is that little bit of paint that's on there just catches the tissue that's actually sticking up, and it really highlights the texture. I'm going to do this across the entire leg. So you can see there the texture starting to come out. So again, this is sped up, but you can see this creates a wonderful surface. And then in a while we're going to use a different colour to decorate the base. So you can choose whichever colour you like. There we go. So now we can see the leg really stands out. Let's go for something a little bit more kind of ground-like. So you see how this green is really now starting to highlight all those wrinkles that we left in the base. So by using hardly any paint and brushing it nice and evenly across the top of those textures, the little bit of paint that's on there will really highlight the texture of the paper. Let's go with a bit of brown as well, just to give it a bit of depth. There we go, that's starting to look like a prehistoric terrain underneath our leg there. And you're done, there we are. One dinosaur leg, 4 times longer than the footprint itself. Well done, hope you've enjoyed this workshop.